Okay, today I'm going to demonstrate how to create a triangle in Khan Academy using the program JavaScript. So what I'm going to advise you guys first, because it is a little bit difficult for middle schoolers to create a triangle. I'm going to have you guys draw it out first. You can either use a piece of paper or I'm using a Google Draw as my example. But again, a piece of paper would be perfect. If you can, you take it in long ways. All right, so landscape layout, and you could even fold it in half. All right, so we would imagine like halfway would be right down through the middle. What we're going to imagine over here on our left, we have our text code. Over here on our right, we have our canvas. So what we're going to do, I'm going to try to imagine where I want my triangle. Okay, as this example, I'm going to have a triangle that's placed down here in the bottom left corner. What I'd like to do first, we're going to lay out our canvas so it's a little bit easier to understand and visualize. The first thing, what we're going to do, I'm going to take our canvas here, and what you're going to notice, we're going to call this our 0 point. All right, so we know that 0 starts up here at the top when we're talking about our y-axis. So you know 0 is at the top, 400 pixels is all the way down at the bottom. So we'll leave our 0 up here, and what I'm going to do is going to copy this real quick. And I'm going to paste that, and I'm going to bring that all the way down here. And we know that this point down here is 400. Okay, just so you guys understand a little bit better here, see if I could throw in a quick arrow so you guys could see that it goes from 0 to 400. There we go. All right, so that's pretty easy, or hopefully basic understanding. Now, same thing, what we're going to do, we're going to take another 0, so I'm going to copy this real quick. Take this, paste that one here, and this is going to be for my x-axis. So you know 0 here, and it goes all the way to 400 pixels to the far right. All right, so I need to clean that one up. So I'm going to take this, I'm going to copy this, paste that, and this makes for a nice layout. Again, I'll throw another arrow going over so we understand what's going on. All right, so let's get rid of that. And I'm just going to lay this out a little bit easier for you. So we know that this is our y-axis. And I'll copy that. Put a little one up here. And we're going to call this our x-axis. All right, so that should be able to, at least we should understand the layout of our canvas. Now, obviously, guys, if I split this page in half, so let's say if we split this page in half here, it's going to use a straight line here. And again, these are not 100%, but you guys can get the idea. And we'll just make this a quick dash line so you understand that. And then I'll do the same over here. There, good. So now what this helps us do, it helps us identify what we need. We know that 200 is right in the middle. Okay, so we have our 200 and 200. So again, if we're going from our y-axis, we know 0 is up at the top. We know 200 is right here, 400 being all at the bottom. Going along our x-axis, we have 0 over here on the left. We have 200 right in the middle, 400 to the far right. So what I want to do, I want to place a triangle down here in the bottom left corner. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to grab a quick triangle, and I'm just going to lay it out where I want this triangle. Let's say if I just want a triangle that looks something like this. Okay, so pretend you drew a triangle there on a piece of paper, and we want to create one like this in JavaScript. Okay, so what we have to imagine here when we are ready to create this triangle, remember we have three different points here of the triangle. Top, bottom left, bottom right for this example. So what we're going to do, we're going to call this top portion here x1 and y1. We'll go over here to the left, we'll call this x2, y2. And then we'll call the bottom right, we'll call that x3, y3. Get that back in order there. All right, so that's how we're going to lay it out. So let's do another text box here for me. So again, I would like you to write this out on a piece of paper, or again, you could use it this way. So I'm going to say x1 equals, we'll say y1, and y1 equals. There we go. I'm going to copy this, two more of those. So we're going to call this one over here x2 and y2. There we go. Let's see if I can slide that up so you can understand a little bit better. There we go. And again, I should have another one, which I do. And we're going to call that one x3 and y3. Okay, so what we're going to do here first, we're going to imagine how many pixels. Again, this is not going to be 100% scale, but at least it'll give you a good idea. And then you could always maneuver it around with your number scrubber. What we're going to do, we're going to take this distance from the left-hand margin, which is 0, to the point of this. Okay, so this distance in here. So you know that we're at 0 right here, and this middle post right here is 200. So we could imagine, or at least visualize for the most part, that point right there on our x-axis is about 100 pixels in. So we're going to call our x1. We're going to call x1. We're going to say that it is equal to 100. Okay. Now to get our y1, how many pixels down? So we know this is 0. Right about here would be 100. We definitely know that midway through is 200. And all the way down here is 400. So we know it's going to be greater than 200, which is right here. And we know that it's going to be less than 400. So why don't we say this is going to be about, we'll say about 250. So y1 will go with 250. Okay. And then over here for our x2. x2, what we're going to do, we're trying to visualize how many pixels in from this left-hand margin, which is 0, over to this point right here. Okay. So, and we already know that we calculated this. I'm going to put another little dotted line here so you guys can at least see. We're calculating this point from here to there. We're saying that that is about 100 pixels in. So we're saying that from this left edge to this line right here is about 100, because that's what we calculated up here for our x1, y1. So why don't we call this one, and again, we're not going to say it's exact scale, but let's say it's at 50 pixels. Let's call x2, we'll call that 50 pixels. And y2, since we know it's all the way at the bottom, we're going to call y2 400, because it's at the bottom of our screen. We can't go any further, so that's just where we're at. Now, to get our right edge of our triangle, we have our x3, and we have our y3. So this one's going to be pretty easy. So if we're calling this x2 right here 50 pixels, we know halfway is 100 pixels, and we know this far post right here, that dotted line, is 200. Well, we can obviously figure out mathematically that this is going to be 150 pixels. So we have 50, 100, 150, that would be 200. So we're going to call x3 150 pixels. Okay. We could easily done that just by adding 50 pixels plus the 100 pixels would give us our 150. Now for our y3, since it's at the bottom, our y3 is going to be equal to our y2 because it goes across as a straight line. So we call that 400 pixels. Now when you're ready to take all of your values and place them into our code to create this, all you have to do, remember, is x1, y1, x2, y2, x3, y3. So this is what your code should look something like for this example. Our x1 is 100 pixels. Our y1 is 250 pixels. Our x2 is 50 pixels. y2 is 400 pixels. x3 is 150 pixels. And y3 is 400 pixels. So again, we're going to see what this looks like here in just a second. But what we're doing again to help you out is to break our canvas down. Okay, measure it out. Our x-axis, 0 here on the left, 400 to the right. Our y-axis, 0 at the top, 400 all at the bottom. Okay, draw where you want your triangle or your shape to show up, and then try to measure it out, or at least get the general idea. Again, once we get this into JavaScript, we can always use our number scrubber to better format it as we need. Okay, let's take a look here now at our JavaScript.